Adam Mockler takes on Gen Z MAGA conservatives, whatever you want to say. Adam Mockler is definitely becoming the poster child of the next generation of political voices. And he has a good head on his shoulders, I would say. One of the biggest things that I will say that is important for new political voices as they pop up is one, obviously understanding nuance and common sense, not common sense in your rationale based off your limited perspective, determine logic chains from a very skewed way of thinking, but a common sense that is allowing yourself to navigate conversations and grow perspective in the ultimate nuance that is politics. Again, I know a mouthful, but ultimately, that is a hard thing to find. And it's hard to find someone on the left in particular because a lot of them tend to be more emotionally driven, very, very humanitarian, which is not always a bad thing, but sometimes you need to be more logical to actually adhere to what is actually going on. So basically, everything MAGA is not doing. So let's see how Adam Mackler performs in this debate style. And what are these Gen Z kids? I say kids, they're not that much younger than me. I'm gonna be honest. I am not. What is Gen Z? Let me look up what Gen Z is. Gen Z years. Gen Z. Wait, wait. Am I Gen Z? Gen Z is 1997 to 2012, is what this says. Wait a minute. Are you serious? Why did I always think I was a millennial? It says 1997. So I'm calling these people kids, and I'm a Gen Zer as well. That's crazy. I'm yapping. Super yap. Big yap. All right. Well, my peers, I guess. Let's hear them now anyway.
Who's escaped the law because of his political influence or something. Why don't you want Donald Trump dead?
What do you think is radicalizing more people, Nick Fuentes or MSNBC?
Probably MSNBC.
Really? Yeah. More so than Nick Fuentes. I hear someone laughing behind me. That's kind of...
She's an idiot, obviously. Let's go over to college students.
Trump is causing a rise of fascism in our generation.
A rise in fascism?
Hey, Adam, I'm Scotty.
Nice to meet you, Scotty.
Hey, would you mind unpacking a little bit more what you mean by rise?
The rise of fascism, yeah. Over the past decade, we've seen a...
Let me give my answer first. And yes, we will be moving this to a cool 1.25 speed. I was considering 1.5, but I know that could be very unbearable for people who will rewatch these videos. So 1.25 is my in the middle spot. Trump is causing the rise of fascism in our generation, for sure, like no doubt. The more nationalistic, my nation over everything, allow my accumulating power behind a single ruler that leads the state. There's no denying that it's leaning into a skewed philosophy on what America's supposed to be to create this very imaginative versions of America that truly just does not exist. So is he causing a rise of fascism in the United States of America? No doubt, unquestionably, yes. And if you think otherwise, I need you to explain it. Go ahead.
Normalization of more fascist, anti-democratic ideologies. Just to explain, Trump's claim to fame, entering U.S. politics. He was famous before this, but he entered U.S. politics by saying Obama wasn't born in America. He convinced a large swath of the country that Obama was not born in America. 4 years later, he was chanting "Lock her up" at a political rally, and no presidential candidate had done that before. 4 years after that, he had couped the government, or at least attempted to coup the government. And now, I live in the city of Chicago. He's posted AI memes of Chicago being invaded. He sent the military into Chicago. So over the past, you could say,
so Adam, you have all your talking points, you know your facts. When engaging in like these type of conversations, it's really important to engage with what the other person is saying. Now, I I've been in a lot of debates. I've debated a lot of people who are against me, and I've really never had an issue with it. Obviously, if it gets more emotional, it can be. For political debates, I never get emotional. When it's like having fun, that's like, and playing up the character for like sports and anime and stuff like that, I get emotional because that's content. Like, you're supposed to get emotional, you're supposed to have fun, it's supposed to be content. Sometimes it's more fun than other times, whatever. For political debates, I think substance matters, and pushing the conversation forward to either understanding or hitting a factual conclusion, potentially a consensus, is important. So when he brought up the point of rise, Mockler, what he should have done there is explain the impact of his actions. You don't even really need to go into the details yet. You could have saved that card for a little bit later when someone was like, okay, what has he done? And then you go out and say all the things that you're referring to. What you should have done is just talk about his actions led, the causal effect of it, leading to more people believing in these fascism tendencies. You can bring up the definition of fascism, and you can bring up his followers and their skewed perspective of being more unconstitutional and pro-authoritarian. That's probably the best way to engage in that question in particular. I'm just saying, you never know. But that's important to when you're engaging in political conversations. I don't think it's about gotchas. I don't think it's about wins. I don't think it's about clips. It's about pushing the conversation forward.
Decade and a half, we've seen a normalization of fascism in America, and I think it's manifesting in our generation in unique ways. We could talk about the Politico story, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I would say let's talk a little bit more about what fascism actually is, because I think fascism is a loaded term.
What's your definition?
And before I get there, what I would say, when you attach fascism to Trump's name, that is a slap in the face to all the Jews who were exterminated under fascist law.
Fascism doesn't just have to do with Jews. Donald Trump is absolutely...
it was Hitler. When you think of fascism, you think of two people. You think of Hitler and you think of Mussolini, who killed millions and millions of people. Trump is not that.
What's your definition of fascism?
I would say fascism is a one person or one party who is silencing and who is demeaning and who is, I guess you would say, opposing and silencing any other opposition.
It's kind of right.
I know it's more nuanced to that.
I'd say a better definition is a far-right authoritarian ideology with one leader at the top with a cult of personality who forcibly suppresses opposition, as you said, but at the same time, he erodes democratic norms and there's hyper-militarization involved, military in the streets. Do you disagree with any of that?
I agree with you that Trump did send in the National Guard
which one of those,
to Chicago.
Which one?
So my understanding of Nazism or fascism, more so, it has to do with that leader. It's typically far right, because that's when it comes down to. It's crazy because a lot of the right wing say that they're like pro limiting government, but that's bullshit. They're pro limiting government they don't like. Typically far right, and it is exalting a lot of power to a leader or a group, leader or group. But I think the biggest thing, and we can look at a quick definition because it's a interesting term that was created, my understanding, by the Italians, by Mussolini, but it's a kind of nuanced term where it's like not very clear. It's not as cutthroat as what is a chair, right? It's a nuanced term, as one of the guys said. Let's get a general definition, expand upon that because this conversation will be heavily about fascism. A populist political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts nation and often race above the individual. I've said that multiple times. That is a core principle of fascism. You think the nation's above people, family, religion, everything. Nation above everything. That's a very core component of fascism, which is why the MAGA identity has a lot of those tendencies. That is associated with a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader. Trump, Hitler, Mussolini. Now you're seeing the comparison. All three of them wanted to put nation above everything else. All three of them wanted a very centralized leader. And that is characterized by severe economic and social regimentation and by forcible suppression of opposition. These other aspects right here are more so causes of like what a fascist regime would do once they have power. And in the situation, like obviously the Hitler and what he did, and Mussolini what he did. In Trump's case, of course, the severe economic changes are very clear, and like how he changing taxes very drastically, how he's changing tariff policy very drastically. There's no consistency behind there. There's no real identity behind an economic platform. If we're being completely honest, the social restoration is like obviously very anti-trans, anti-immigrant. Immigrants are the root of all evil. Same principles as like when Italy was like, was it Italy or Russia? I'm probably thinking of Russia, who said fuck Polish people. But like obviously the Nazis were like fuck Jewish people. And suppression of opposition, again, opposition, not necessary. Even though he calls Democrats evil, it's not as easy to just kind of oppress a whole party, but you've definitely oppressed certain identities. That's why I pointed out immigrants and trans people. So all the definitions that align with what fascism is correspond with Trump. You don't need all the deaths to qualify it as fascism. That's just fascism in action in its most extreme authority. That's the definition. Let's keep on going.
One of those descriptions does not describe Trump. All of those terms.
I would say that Trump, I guess you say, what are his motives behind doing these things?
I gave you
You're asking me.
Motives are irrelevant. That's a stupid question.
You were asking me on the definition of fascism.
Okay.
So I gave you a few qualities. Which of those qualities does not describe
Okay,
Trump?
say those qualities one more time.
It is a far-right authoritarian ideology with one leader at the top who is a cult of personality. He forcibly suppresses opposition. They like hyper-militarization.
Okay, so
and
forcibly,
eroding.
I disagree with forcibly doing that. Give me an example right now about forcibly.
A really good example is lately Jimmy Kimmel was taken off.
It doesn't always have to be far right. I do want to note that, but it typically is far right. Typically, it's far right.
Off air by the FCC because the FCC.
I knew we were going to go here with Jimmy Kimmel.
Wait, listen, no.
That's not.
Did you hear? You know who the FCC commissioner is?
Yes. Okay.
Who is
no, I actually don't know exactly who it is, but I know what
it is. Brendan Carr. So if you don't know who it is, and you might not know that Brendan Carr said in an interview, we can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way. It was essentially a mobster threat. Other than that, Donald Trump has attacked law firms. He has attacked universities. Jimmy Kimmel might not be the best example because he's a late night show host, but it is a glaring example.
I get it.
Yeah.
Right. I would disagree with you. And what do you mean by like forcibly, right? Because you're attaching fascism to Trump, right? When we attach fascism, we attach that to Hitler and Mussolini. Jimmy Kimmel, him taking Jimmy Kimmel, he didn't have anything direct to do with taking Jimmy Kimmel off of air. The reason why Jimmy Kimmel got taken off of air is because nobody likes Jimmy Kimmel. I've maybe laughed 3 or 4 times at Jimmy Kimmel. He's not that funny.
Let's talk about the word forcibly then. Forcibly.
Okay, that was a terrible response by this guy. Focus on forcible. Adam, you definitely do not need to make an equivalent comparison. This guy wants to make it. He's not Hitler, so he's not fascist. That's a very low effort, low educated understanding on the analysis we're giving, right? But you got to meet him where he's at and really break down why you don't need the death to be a fascist. You need the deaths to be a fascist that is one of the most evil men in history. He's not that. He's a fascist, but he hasn't reached the heights, right? Hitler, let's be very clear about this. Hitler was a fascist before he killed millions of Jews. Hopefully, we can all agree to that very easy point.
Doesn't mean through violence. It could be using the states, using the government or your position of power to try to suppress the opposition. Donald Trump has spent his entire political career acting like the Democratic Party shouldn't exist. You know, Act Blue, the fundraising
Biden and Obama have done the same things. What are you talking about? It's not about forcibly.
Let me ask you.
What has Trump done to forcibly remove the opposition?
Okay.
He's spoken against the press. Yeah.
Can I ask you a
question? Every president has done that of all time. They've spoken against the opposition press. But that doesn't mean he's forcibly removed somebody from that position.
Last month, Donald Trump sent out a Truth Social post towards Pam Bondi. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
He said, Pam, I want you to indict these 3 people and move fast. What happened is Eric Siebert, the federal prosecutor from the Eastern District of Virginia, then was forced to resign, forcibly resign, not through violence, but through pressure. Then you see 2 of the 3 people that Donald Trump named indicted for random stuff. You have Letitia James, and then you have James Comey, who got indicted. We also just saw John Bolton indicted. Can I ask you, is indicting your political opponents for speaking up against you?
They did the exact same things to Trump. The left party, the Democratic Party, has done the same things. They tried to. No.
Who's they?
See, now we're getting into those jury things where they use political power to go after Trump.
Did Biden ever
they were afraid of him. They were afraid of what he was going to do to America.
Did Biden ever tweet at his attorney general and say, hey, Merrick Garland, can you indict?
No, because Biden wasn't even in charge of the presidency.
Okay, so Biden
he was not even making those things.
Pause. Sorry, you've been eliminated by the majority.
So this guy just full narratives, full Twitter posts, just watch YouTubers, have no idea how the government works. I think in this one, Adam has to be able to deal with like people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And you would assume that it's easier to deal with those people, but it's really not, because you have to explain everything that they do not know, which is kind of annoying. But
Adam, that was so much
That was
fun.
great.
Nice
I love
to meet
that.
you, man.
It was great to meet you, Scotty.
Adam's way nicer than me. I don't think this guy at all.
Hi,
Fuck
Sadie.
this guy.
Sadie, nice to meet you. I'm
Nice to
Adam.
meet you. So I want to touch on your forcible suppression of the opposition as defining fascism. So in my understanding, I think that the leftist party is assassinating conservatives. So we're talking about Charlie Kirk's assassination. We're writing, engraving on the bullets, catch fascists. I think that shows
Can you
more of a
define
fascism
leftist-
over here.
Can you define what you mean by leftist party? Because I think that conservatives are very good at individual responsibility. And when you're placing the blame on an entire party because one 22-year-old dude killed somebody, which is obviously tragic, then what do you mean by leftist party?
Yeah, so we have Kamala Harris calling Trump supporters fascists, Biden calling Trump supporters fascists. When you have these big leaders calling individuals fascist, and then that is
Did they call the supporters fascists? Is that true? Like, I mean, I do think there are a lot of MAGA cultists that are fascists. I want to be very clear about that. I just don't know. I don't remember if they actually said that though. Or is she just making that shit up? I mean, I think she's probably making that shit up. Call Trump supporters fascist. Okay. Let's see. So Biden calls Trump supporters garbage. It fits mold of Dems insulting opponents. Base. This was an article in 2024. Less than a week until the presidential election. Blah 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 blah. Biden was responding to a comedian's horrible joke at Trump's rally. Insult comment Tony Hinchcliffe directed a seriously awful comment about Puerto Rico calling a floating island of garbage. Obviously, outrage ensued, and Democrats have cut the comment alive in the news since. Okay, I remember that. So Biden thought he'd help Harris by hopping on a call with a progressive Latino coupe. On that call, Biden's heard saying, the only garbage I see floating around there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionably and it's un-American. I think that shit's funny as fuck. Probably shouldn't have said that being a presidential candidate. Even though I do think a lot of MAGA is garbage. But like I could say that. Probably Biden probably shouldn't say that, regardless of how much you believe it. Because a lot of them are, let me be honest. There's no doubt about it. They're garbage. Me trying to see. Okay. Biden's garbage comment must be taken in the context of what he has said about Trump and his MAGA base. In 2022, for instance, Biden called Trump supporters proponents of semi-fascism. In recent days, Harris also harnessed the fascist term to slam her opponent and by association his supporters. So association is bullshit. That's a terrible way to write an article. But calling people the proponents of semi-fascism is not calling the supporters. So there's no evidence of them actually calling them supporters fascists. They might believe in fascist proponents. Just because you believe in something doesn't make you something, right? Like just because I call you saying that you're doing or saying something like racist doesn't mean that you are a racist, right? Common sense. But yeah. So she lied about that, but you know, cool. They call them garbage. Yeah, that was kind of funny. That was based actually.
getting tagged on to conservatives as a whole. So I think that the leftist party is actually very good about saying
Well, she's full of shit.
and then
She's
this
lying.
to everyone.
So-
So back to what I'm saying about Charlie Kirk. So when Charlie Kirk got assassinated saying catch fascists, I think that's a very good example of fascism. And then you want to talk about the
Can I ask you, is your position that people in power should not be calling the opposition party
I'll be honest. Also, Trump called Dems communists and fascists as well. So the whole cry is me, stop being a wuss. These MAGA people, man.
fascists or Gestapo or Hitler?
Absolutely.
Donald Trump called Kamala Harris and Joe Biden a fascist a dozen times throughout the campaign trail. He called them Gestapo, and only one politician has called Donald Trump Hitler, and it's J.D. Vance, his vice president.
And which party has that stuck to? That stuck to conservatives.
Hey, did you hear what he fucking said? Or are you listening in both of your fucking ears? How about you move your hair and listen? Hey, listen. Did he keep up your fucking energy, right? You just went on a whole tirade making up bullshit about, oh, the Dems. Oh my God, they call people fascists even though they do fascist things. Oh my God, why always me? Hey, what if Trump does it? Well, it doesn't matter because it stuck to the Republicans. Who cares if they said the same thing? They're allowed to because it. What the fuck are we talking about? She's an idiot. I'm moving on. Let's move on to the next person. She's blonde woman, am I right? I like jokes. Don't cancel me, MAGA.
You as well.
So you keep saying Trump is a fascist and just keep throwing that term around.
I didn't say that. I said he's causing a rise of fascism in our generation. I would consider him a fascist, though. Yeah.
He's not a fascist because a fascist is one party rule. There's two parties in the United States. It's not one party.
Okay, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay. Come on, you can't have that. I don't even know what Italian? Yeah, Italian look. Hispanic complexion. Muslim? Italian? Hispanic? I don't know what he is.
And he's not using violence to control power. It's not like after
That's
2028, you're never going to see Trump again. His 2-term limit is over. That's not fascism. If you want to see fascism,
why do
go
they
to the
keep on
Middle East.
talking
I'm
about a
Egyptian.
third term?
And if you want to see fascism, I can show you what fascism is. When the president.
Okay, you said
psyops
fascism is one party.
Did you all see? Oh man, do I have the clip? I don't think I have the clip. Let me see if I have the clip. I need to start saving my clips so I can just pull it up immediately and show you guys how insane this party is. There's a clip of like young Republicans talking about, oh, we'll do whatever it takes to get Trump a third term. And then we got Steve Bannon talking about how they're thinking about legal ways to get him a third term. So okay.
Control.
Yes.
Donald Trump has spent the past decade acting like the opposition party shouldn't exist. Caroline Leavitt just the other day said the entire Democratic voter base is Hamas terrorists, criminals, and illegal immigrants. Stephen Miller says the Democratic Party is not a party. It is a domestic extremist organization. Donald Trump has called my side Nats, the enemy within, and people who need to be taken care of. He's trying to get the military to boo Obama and liberals. So Donald Trump over the past decade does not want the Democratic Party to exist. That's why they're targeting Act Blue.
So you're telling me that he doesn't have the right to criticize the Democratic Party at all?
That's not criticizing the party. That's using your power to take down their
Okay, but
fundraising
doesn't the
mechanisms.
Democratic Party, they try to impeach him twice?
And also,
isn't that fascism? Why are you trying to
wait? Wait, hold up. Hold up. You think it's fascism to go through the proper processes to impeach somebody? Wait a minute.
He said, is that fascism for trying to impeach Donald Trump? Yo, these MAGA kids have lost the plot. Where's the education? Listen to me. This Jubilee is 20 conservative college students. Let me go back. Let me go back right here. To the initial thing. College students. What are you learning? I think if they're going to be qualified as college students, they have to tell us their major. What is he? The economy major? Maybe he's one of those arts majors that Trump wants to get rid of. Because there's no way he says, isn't it fascist to impeach a president? What are you learning in school? Why are you getting into debt unless you're a rich kid? Which you could be. You could be. Definitely not a scholarship because DEI, obviously. Fuck DEI. Hell no. Yeah, that's takes the cake so far for one of the dumbest things I've heard in this video. Sounds good. Okay.
Impeach somebody. Wait a minute.
When one party controls the narrative, when you had Twitter,
wait a minute. Just go back 1 second. Impeaching somebody is not fascism. Impeaching somebody is going through the proper processes.
Making a false narrative around him. That's what they did.
Oh, if you want to talk about false narratives,
no, they did a false narrative. Habibi,
listen.
You calm down. Like, take a deep breath. Okay? Let me tell you, okay? When you have one party.
Calm down. You're the one yelling. You're yelling. What do you mean calm down? Come up.
I just get mad at terrible talking points. I'm so sorry.
Listen. You take a deep breath. So when you have one party controlling the narrative on social media, and they were telling when there was pre-COVID.
Wait, who owns Twitter right now? Elon Musk. Who's bought TikTok? Right wingers. Who owns Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay, but they switched the narrative. They switched narrative based on who's in power. So right now you got Trump. Right, you're saying he's a fascist. Is that your claim? What's your claim? That America's going to be a fascist nation? Is that your claim?
No, my claim is that Trump is causing a rise of fascism in our generation. And you know what? Sitting in this room proves it because you guys are all blind to the fact.
Because you're blind to the fact that
have you been to the Middle East? I'm Syrian, but I haven't been to the Middle East.
Okay, have you been to the Middle East? Have you seen fascism in Syria when they're killing Christians just because of their faith? That's fascism. That's fascism.
Someone just claimed people. Listen,
is he Trump killing anyone?
You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You're just talking. It's like, Okay, authoritarian government, fascism does bad thing. It's just these people have no idea what the fuck fascism means, even though he gave a definition of fascism. You got to give it again, Adam, because this guy is brain dead. That's strike 2. Should we move on? Will this kid be compy? Will he give me a comp conversation? Come on.
Damn.
I was trusting the whites, right?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Adam. Ethan.
Ethan.
So I want to get started with talking about how you're saying sitting in this room with all of us who are blind to the truth or whatever is proving your point about the rise of fascism. It seems that you are doing
Yes.
exactly what people have been saying and applying this label needlessly to so many conservatives, like painting
All
with a
pride.
broad brush. And it makes me wonder if you really use fascism in the way, in like how the
Oh, so you're gonna keep bitch and complain and cry? Is that what we're doing? Come on, MAGA, do better, do better. Oh my god, I almost caught that playing Madden while this, because all this. I don't have a good joke there. I failed. My joke did not land. Yeah, I don't care about this talking point. I'm gonna be honest. I think she's gonna bring up Nick Fuentes, so let's go to her and then we'll move on to the next one.
Ooh.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Sarah. So I'm a lot more concerned about the rise of violent left-wing rhetoric among Gen Z than so-called fascism, because I'm sorry, if you think like that chat was any sort, like that meant that fascism is on the rise, it's like you've never been at Call of Duty lobby. Like it's called making edgy jokes. Okay?
Wait a minute. You make those types of jokes?
She's never been in a fucking Call of Duty lobby in her life. What the fuck is she talking about? She probably heard that from her brothers and just repeated it. There's no fucking way she's played Call of Duty. I don't believe it.
Personally, but like that's
Okay.
like every young man ever.
Wait,
Okay, yeah, she has no idea what the hell she's talking about. She has no idea what she's talking about. Every Call of Duty lobby, she just heard that shit and repeated it. Yapping. What?
Any
has
of
like
you
made a joke
raise
like
your
that
hand
in
if you make those
private,
types
let's
of
be
jokes.
For real. Like
Okay, so no one will actually admit it because it's kind of weird to make those types of jokes.
everyone makes those types, and that means you have like
I
no
don't.
male
Nobody
friends if
makes-
you've like never
No.
been in a room where people.
Let's be very clear. She's a fucking dumbass. So she's just yapping. All right. Nobody makes jokes like those young Republicans were making that were like basically doing like Nazi propaganda. Like no one. I'm in Call of Duty lobbies. I actually play the game. The type of jokes we're talking about is like, you know, sexist jokes and racist jokes. Nazi jokes. I don't know. It doesn't typically go that far. It's more just like every now and then we get the N-word. Every now and then we insult women that they have to get in the kitchen. I don't, because I'm classy. I don't say the N-word really. And I don't make jokes about women when I play video games. But other people do. So yeah, she's yapping.
My male friends
say
tell-
the N-word as a joke, like it's
No,
like
my male
everyone
friends-
does that, and you know it's true. And it's like if
No,
not, you're probably
not
surrounded
everyone
by
does
like
that.
homosexuals.
Yes, no
Okay,
idea
my
what
male
she's
friends and I
talking
tell each other to like kill themselves. We do silly
Oh,
stuff.
okay. Oh, that's so shocking. Oh my gosh. it's
Okay,
just
but
a-
we don't
it's a
say
joke.
and
the difference
off to the
is
gas
that
chamber.
The difference is that young leftists genuinely worshipped the murder of Charlie Kirk and Luigi Mangione, who are people committing genuine acts of violence, and they genuinely condone that. So that's the big difference. Because I mean, I saw literally graffiti on college campuses saying "kill all."
Majority of college students and kids did not agree with it. I know the percentage of like Gen Z and below is higher than the other demographics that supported it, but it's still the minority. I guess that's a difficult concept to understand. We all know what poll she's referring to, if she knows how to read a poll. Ding! I'm a sexist pig. Oh my
Charlie
God.
Kirks. They are inciting violence, and that is a totally like normalized thing to say to like
Okay.
celebrate the fact. And that's serious. And the political group chat was a joke, and you know that.
Yeah,
Okay, so
MAGA
your
does this
concession
too.
is that, you know, people talk like fascists in private sometimes, but you're worried that leftists are using increasingly violent rhetoric like the people you were talking about.
Because
Luigi
one
Mangione
thing is
supported
serious
this.
and one thing is a joke.
Okay, I
and
want to
you
ask you
know
one thing. Did one Democratic politician support what Luigi did? Can you name any actual Democratic politician?
that. No, but it doesn't
Okay,
matter
so
because
on the other
you're
side-
talking about the rise in the generation. You're not
No, no, no.
talking about politicians in
No,
their
no, no.
speech. You're
I am
about the
talking
rise.
about politicians as well. So on the other
Oh,
side,
now you're
no.
you're-
Let me clarify.
What about young leftists?
Let me
What
clar-
about the violence?
That was actually a good point. He's talking about the generation. He is not talking about the politicians. So, but that was a good point. I'll give her a little check mark, a little star. That was a good
That young leftists.
Let me
can go.
clarify very, very quickly.
That's
So you're
way
trying to
more
point to
widespread,
young
you know.
leftists on the left, but on the right, there are politicians in power. People like Stephen Miller, who says the Democratic Party is a domestic extremist organization. Caroline Levitt, just the other day, as I said that the entire base is Hamas terrorists and criminals. So when you have people in power on the right, wait, they're using this rhetoric and normalizing it that goes downstream.
Yeah,
so
and you have
when
left-wing media like MSNBC cheering backstage when Charlie Kirk was murdered.
Wait, you think people are being murdered because of MSNBC? You think MSNBC is radical?
Yes, I do.
You think MSNBC?
She's just making shit up. She is a good propagandist. She has no idea what she's talking about, and she just says random things with a little bit of passion. Shout out, man. Get you somewhere, I guess.
It's radical.
Absolutely.
What do you think is radicalizing more people, Nick Fuentes or MSNBC?
Probably MSNBC.
Really? More so than Nick Fuentes. I hear someone laughing behind me. That's kind of, But also, there's a fundamental difference between people in power using rhetoric and.
Yeah, Adam, you didn't have to bring up the behind me thing. Did not land. Not land. What the yo, these people are crazy. These people are so crazy. I think this Adam Mockler just proved everything he needed to. The fact that she made this point completely proves his claim about the rise of fascism in our generation. Let's hear that again.
Domestic extremist organization. Caroline Levitt, just the other day, as I said that the entire base, they're using this rhetoric and normalizing it because of MSNBC. You think MSNBC is radical?
Yes, I do.
You think
Backstage when Charlie Kirk was murdered.
Wait, you think people are being radicalizing more people, Nick Fuentes or MSNBC?
Probably MSNBC.
Really? More so than Nick Fuentes?
So Nick Fuentes, she thinks MSNBC is radicalizing and making people more fascist than Nick Fuentes. Adam Mockler cooked this entire part. Thanks to her fucking dumbass take. It's just like calling them dumbasses doesn't even work. They're just so fucking stupid. Their takes are so fucking bad. Their understanding of the world is so very uneducated. I don't know how these people are college students when I don't know what they're learning. I think their education is basically watching Twitter comments from fucking Nick Fuentes, Stephen Miller, and JD Vance. Because there's no logical way you can say that Nick Fuentes, no, MSNBC is radicalizing people more than Nick Fuentes. I'll be honest. I know exactly what role she would play in a certain period of time. Blonde and blue eyes, I know exactly what role she would play. You feel me? Yeah, okay. All right. Cool. Base. Okay.
As I hear someone laughing behind me, that's kind of, But also, there's a fundamental difference between people in power using rhetoric and random leftists. Listen, I'm a young liberal.
Don Lemon just told people to shoot ICE agents. Don Lemon just told illegal brown people to grab guns so they can shoot ICE agents when they show up at their door. Is Don Lemon not someone in a?
Did he say that? Let me see. Did Don Lemon tell people to shoot ICE agents? Because I have a feeling she's a pathological liar. So let me verify this. Let me verify it. Okay. All right, here's an article. I have to verify. Don Lemon urges black and brown people to buy guns during illegal immigration crackdown. Okay. MAGA is pro Second Amendment. So who cares about that? Well, let's read the article. What is this freaking heading? Jesus. Former CNN host Don Lemon is urging black and brown people to buy guns. Oh, is this the clip? Can I play the clip? I guess I can't. To buy guns and arm themselves as the Trump administration cracks down on illegal immigration. During a recent podcast appearance, he advised people who are here legally to invoke their Second Amendment right. Sounds very reasonable. You're a legal citizen. The Second Amendment is to protect yourself. Get a license to carry legally, because when you have people knock on your door and taking you away without due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment was written for? Lemon said. That sounds exactly what a right-winger would say, right? A right winger will go like, "Oh yeah, I have guns, so the government can't take away my guns." You know what I'm saying? They would shoot them, right? Okay, very reasonable. So our characterization's bullshit. Surprise, surprise. Let's keep on reading though. Maybe he does just say, just go out and shoot him, like she said. I'm tired of all the mealy mouth. I'm tired of all playing nice. I'm tired of people saying turn the other cheek. That's what got us into the position in the first place, he continued. Let me push black households and brown people of all stripes, whether you're an Indian American or Mexican American, to buy a gun, keep it in a safe place, and teach their kids about gun safety. I'm not condoning or promoting violence. Here's what I'm saying to black and brown people, to Mexican people, to people who are here legally and who can buy a gun legally and have a license to carry legally. Go do it. Why not? Does that sound like what she just said? Let's go back to what she just said. Let's go back to her characterization. I can't hear it. Why can I not hear this? Am I tripping? Hold on. That's annoying.
Said that the entire base is Hamas terrorists and criminals. So, Caroline, there are politicians in power that said, wait. They're using this rhetoric and normalizing it because of Fuentes or MSNBC. But also, there is a fundamental difference.
Lemon just told people to.
Or using rhetoric and random leftists. Listen, I'm a young liberal. And
Don Lemon just told people to shoot ICE agents. Don Lemon just told illegal brown people to grab guns so they can shoot ICE agents when they show up at their door. Is Don Lemon not someone in a position of power?
As a young liberal,
do you condone that?
So let's be all on the same page, ladies and gentlemen. What she said was a disgusting characterization of what Don Lemon said. I'm not surprised. MAGA, a bunch of idiots. They get their information from Fox News, one of the biggest misinformation sources in mainstream media, and then they get their other news from like Twitter and meme posts. So to be precise on what he said, he's not saying that, oh, brown and black people go out there and just shoot ICE agents. He is saying, though, that legal brown and black people, legal, here are some of the quotes, legal citizens should go and arm themselves if people are coming and violating their due process as a citizen, which is what the Second Amendment is for, right? That's all y'all arguments. Anytime a mass shooting happens and kids die, you guys, oh, don't take my guns away. I'm here to fight against the government, right? That's the argument, right? So if that's the argument, and Don Lemon's using the same fucking argument with legal citizens legally obtain firearms and only people who are breaking your due process, then what the fuck is the complaint? Oh, I understand. MAGA is just nasty people. They are just nasty people. And let's see how Fox News characterized it. I'm actually kind of curious. So Fox News, Don Lemon tells black and brown citizens to carry guns in case ICE shows up. Suggests that black and brown people of all stripes should legally arm themselves in case of ICE shows up at their door. Lemon made the comment Tuesday on the left hook, blah, 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 clarifying that he was not condoning or promoting violence, but that he was tired of niceties while ICE agents were rounding people up off the street. Okay. I thought the article would be worse. Said he hoped the sentiment could knock some sense into. I take back my. I probably will cut that out about the Fox News. I thought this was going to be a worse quote, but they pretty much quoted it. But obviously, the internet is full of shit all the time, and we just saw her just make something up. So, standing on that.
What
Do you
Don
condone
Lemon said?
shooting? Yeah, do you condone that?
No, you should not shoot ICE agents. He said that you should have a weapon in your house. Don't you support the Second Amendment?
Not for illegal immigrants
can I
because they're
say-
not allowed to legally own firearms.
He never said illegal immigrants should have firearms. You fucking lying bitch. Oh man, let me chill. That's not me. I'm not one of those people. Or am I?
Can I clarify something? Can I clarify? He was talking about citizens because he said they're arresting and detaining citizens. So if you watch
Not
that,
true, by
if
the
you
way.
watch that clip, he was saying citizens.
That
I hope
is
there's one of those
true.
fact
You're
checks on
dumbass.
screen because he was saying they're detaining citizens. So really quickly,
Citizens wouldn't need to be like shooting ICE agents.
I don't think
either, so.
anyone should shoot ICE agents, but he was number one. I'm not.
Then why they keep on getting citizens? Oh, because you're stupid. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Gotcha, understood.
By the way,
Lemon?
that's
I'm not Don Lemon.
That's a ton. No, we're
Can I just
saying
clarify-
left-wing people openly incite violence.
Can I just clarify very quickly?
I'm
I'm a young liberal, and I completely wholeheartedly condemn anyone on my side who is number one talking poorly about Charlie Kirk, number two saying insane
Sure, yeah,
stuff
condemn
about.
half your party. Do it.
Oh, you think? Okay, can you name one Democratic person in position of power who said something about Charlie Kirk that was?
Yeah, I just said like half of the people on MSNBC. We saw the video
Can you
the
name
second he
someone?
died. I don't know because they're off camera. We heard the cheers the second
Okay,
he
well,
died.
on your side, I can name Mike Lee, who made fun of Melissa Hortman after she died. I can name Donald Trump and Don Jr., who made fun of Nancy Pelosi. So just to back up, there's a
It's still
normalization of this type of ideology happening in our politics, and it's
Yeah,
due to
on
people
the
like
left.
Donald Trump. Okay,
We saw Luigi Mangione.
She's a piece of shit. You can't. She's prime cult brain. You ain't reaching her. She's gone. She's gone, man. They got her. They got her. They got another one. She's completely
The sex symbol.
Pause. Time out.
brainwashed.
We're done with this claim, so we need to move on to the next claim.
I do not get why you shake hands with pieces of shit. I'll be honest. I would not shake these people. They can go fuck themselves. Shout out Adam Mockler. He's a better person than me. He deserves more credence than me because I am not that nice. Shout out Adam Mockler. I respect him. He's a better man than me. But I can do it.
my next claim is, despite Trump's claims, the economy is not in a golden age.
I mean, that's just another objective
Nice to
truth.
meet you.
I'm Riley.
Nice to meet you, Riley.
So why do you think Trump's economy isn't golden?
I don't think it's in a golden age. I think that he claims almost on a weekly basis that the economy is in a golden age and that we are bringing in trillions of dollars in tariffs, but that's not manifesting in any of the indicators. We can look at three in particular. Unemployment is up since Trump took office. Prices are rising and manufacturing is down. Manufacturing was one of his big claims, but we can dig into any of those.
Yeah, so I would just like to talk about the tariffs first in general. So actually, when we increase tariffs, it's kind of proven that always at the beginning, inflation rises, there's always a little spike, and then it eventually decreases. We can also see that Trump would do this to eventually, in hopes to improve domestic manufacturing and self-reliance. Because, for example, we get about 60% of semiconductors and 90% of microchips from Taiwan. They're the leading manufacturer of those in the whole world. And currently they're at war with China.
Mm-hmm.
And if China takes over Taiwan, then we're in big trouble, right? So I would just kind of like to add that it's really important that and not only do tariffs help us get that self-reliance and create more jobs, we also can use tariffs to make more money and bring more money for our.
Adam, very easy response. Just clarify you're not against tariffs. You're against how Trump uses tariffs. Very easy first thing. And then you obviously can go and why his tariffs are bad. And then also talk about the idea that Biden's administration was doing similar tariffs like that too, to help manufacturing, to help bring chips here, like making deals to bring chips here as well. So, I mean, two pretty easy responses because you don't need to go like, oh, all tariffs are bad. That's just ridiculous. How Donald Trump is doing tariffs are bad.
Country, because to fix the national debt issue that Biden's team caused. So.
Yeah, let's start off with the first claim about tariffs reshoring manufacturing. They absolutely can be used to reshore.
Oh, she brought up the national debt thing. She will get blown out of the fucking water with that one too. That was a terrible take, but continue.
Or certain industries into the United States, and that's a good point, but that's not how Trump's using them. He placed blanket tariffs on every
Right,
single country
perfect.
except for Russia and North Korea for some odd effing reason. But then he has been kind of weird about these tariffs. Like there's no actual concessions that he's trying to get. He placed tariffs on countries that we had free trade with. And then secondly, when you do tariffs, really quickly, when you do tariffs all via executive order, all of his tariffs were via executive order. None of them actually went through Congress or were long-term and binding. There's no actual incentivization for countries to reshore manufacturing because then there's really quickly, there's no continuity into the next administration, right? Can you agree that when you do it all via executive order, the next administration could just, run it all back? So we've seen actually a decrease in manufacturing investments.
I would like to add that when we see that employment rates will rise and costs will go down, we've already, we're not even in his first full through.
This is just a flawed projection without any evidentiary proof. There's no proof that employment will rise because of this at all. The only thing you can argue in terms of employment rising is purely due to all the firings. So it's just the kind of the same argument used against Biden. It's people getting their jobs either back or other people just taking those vacancies.
said 90. He's the one that's claiming we're in a golden age and said 90 deals in 90 days.
Also, can I add that
Yeah.
when tariffs are added about, like you said, about multiple across all nations in the world, that is like a, I believe I'm saying the right name, neo-exceptionalism trade policy. So we can have more communication with other countries and also to.
That's not what's going on, though. I mean, I like your kind of optimistic viewpoint, but you don't really think that these are deals done to negotiate, right? Considering how much times he puts a tariff on, takes it back, puts it on, takes it back, nothing concrete ever gets done regarding the deals that he makes with other countries, or foreign relationships with all these countries have drastically declined. Our relationship with all of our allies drastically declined, especially with all the international interventionism that we've been doing, that people are really just condemning us and lacking trust in the country as a whole. Matter of fact, the trust in America, the percentage being like the predominant power in the world, has drastically dropped to the point where we're almost tied with China. I just don't know how you believe this. I'm be honest. I mean, I know MAGA's a cult. I understand. Gotcha.
Just generate more wealth also as well. And
that's not manifesting in any of our manufacturing investment. That wealth is not manifesting for the US people. In fact, this type of tax is regressive. Can you agree that tariffs are paid by the US consumer? Like, can you split with Trump there?
Yes, of course, tariffs
Okay,
are paid by the US consumer.
Thank
But as we can see that when we use tariffs to have domestic manufacturing and to just generate more wealth, we can rely on ourselves and not look to these other countries like we have been for so long. And
that's right, but it's not what Trump's doing. Actually, real private fixed investment into manufacturing structures in the United States went down. Biden actually had a few acts that incentivized, like the CHIPS Act, incentivized the building of chips and semiconductors in the United States. But Trump is tearing up these trade deals and then piecing them back together with tape and signing his name on it as if he did something when he didn't.
But as we can see with Biden's era of presidency, inflation actually increased. And with Trump's,
shout out COVID.
Current president, second term, it hasn't decreased. And we actually see as of August, I believe.
Again, shout out COVID.
That median household income has increased $1,000 already. And in his first term, we've seen
median household income has increased by $1,000. Is that true? Hold on. And I don't think that's a good determinate factor of like wealth, because it's a median and the rich are getting richer. So just more people and more rich people. It's not really a good metric generally, but let me look at it. It has the median household income increased. All right, let's see. Real, do I want to use real? So it increased because of Biden. There's no way, okay. Based off the numbers, there's no way she can make that claim because 2025 just finished. The only way you can make this claim based off like census data is because of Biden's administration, not Trump's. I don't know where she's getting this data from. Because this is what she's referring to right here, right? She said it went up by $1,000. This is 2023. This is 2024. $1,000. What is she talking about? She would have to be talking about Joe Biden. Again, I just don't understand where these people get their information. I don't get it. Is it really just Twitter and just people lying?
It was a pleasure.
That was great.
I would shake her hand, though. I would shake her hand. I think it was a good conversation. I think she was pleasant. She was nice. She was wrong, but you can be wrong and have a good conversation. That's fine. I think you could really talk to her and really make her understand like where she's wrong, and then probably come to a consensus on like the value of like tariffs and stuff like that, and domestic manufacturing and all that stuff, all that good stuff.
I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Shout out her. Good conversation. W.
Got you. What's up?
No, brother.
Yeah, Isaiah.
I want to give you 30 seconds, and I want to give myself 30 seconds just to understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. So
Why do black conservatives come in like two categories? They sound super white. They sound so white, or they're like the other side of the aisle, or the rough. I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. There's two. There's a white sounding, looking like this guy type of black conservative, or the kind of more the manly version, the bigger, maybe a former cop, former military type black conservative. It's like one or the other.
So again, there are a few indicators that you can look at, but if Donald Trump is going to claim that we are in a golden age, then we necessarily had to have been in a golden age under the end of Biden's term, because so far, youth unemployment is up 16% since he took office. There's people in this room. Youth unemployment is up. That's not a golden age. Unemployment for Black Americans is up 20% since he took office. That is not a golden age. We can look at inflation over the past, since Liberation Day in April. You can look at inflation and it has gone up. We were actually trending down at the end of Biden's term and as Trump took office, but now it is trending back up. And all of this is for what? No actual reshoring of manufacturing quite yet.
All right, perfect. So to go based on, you want to talk about unemployment?
Any of it, yeah.
So to go based on unemployment, the reason why it's actually higher is because under Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, that actually increased the inflation margin significantly, only because it actually did, in fact, increase taxes. It did say it was going to put $1.5 trillion back into the economy for roads, infrastructure, all that. It didn't actually increase anything necessarily. Actually, that was more so actually given to the states actually to do with the money as they choose. As far as tariffs go, yes, obviously.
What? He thinks the Inflation Reduction Act is just to give random money to the states? How fucking bad faith can you be? What the fuck are you talking about? And more taxes is a good thing, because taxes means that you use those money for the infrastructure, right? That's how the fucking works. Okay, bro. It's like people just don't understand how things work. They just really don't. That claim was just fucking bullshit. Oh, the states can use it as a plea. Just a generic throwaway statement because he has no idea what the fuck he's yapping about. Continue.
Inflation does increase as well as also a slower
inflation. You know why inflation was increasing? COVID. You dip like these. You guys were not that young during COVID. Like, you guys can't be this fucking ignorant that we were recovering from a global crisis. Like, you guys can't be this ignorant. Adam, can you bring up COVID so these people can shut up, please?
Low growth.
That's not a golden age then.
But as far as that goes, it's actually for a long-term development.
How long?
You have to well, it could take as much as 5 years.
5 years?
But that's also an investment to the
Lord
American
have
people.
mercy. Is that what the people voted for? I thought they voted for immediate relief.
As far as actually
5 years of...
yeah, don't get me wrong. Egg prices did drop, so did gasoline prices. The only reason why California isn't as...
Egg prices dropped after the end of the bird flu, you dipshit. Gas prices have been dropping for a very, very long time. Like, they've been consistently dropping. They've barely dropped since Trump took president. He did absolutely nothing to drop the gas prices. Let's be very clear about it. He did nothing to drop the gas prices. He's done nothing to drop the bird prices or egg prices. So again, you're fucking yapping. And I was one of those people. I never blame presidents from gas prices. I want to be very clear. And when it comes down to the egg prices increasing, I was not covering that story and saying, oh yeah, Donald Trump. I might have memed about it because I love calling out MAGA hypocrisy. But ultimately, that was because the bird flu. So it's like, what are you going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do about it?
High is just because of California's regulations. But either way, while he does actually influence the economy.
What the fuck? So he just all right, what else are you just making up? What are you making up? What false information is your glasses seeing?
Is the only reason why California isn't as high.
Years of...
yeah, don't get me wrong. Egg prices did drop, so did gasoline prices. The only reason why California isn't as high is just because of California's regulations. But either way, while...
Yes, California has high gas prices, higher gas prices. It's a more expensive place to live in the cities. Cities typically have higher gas prices. Not a point. Not really a point. You've made no point so far. He
does actually influence the economy through his executive orders. He can't control every single.
Can I ask you? Do you think we're in a golden age right now, as Trump claims?
Do I think that we're in a golden age? I think we're actually progressing there.
Okay. Do you think that Trump has brought in the amount of money he claims? He claims it's $18 trillion. He says $17 to $18 trillion based on tariffs.
I do believe so, because as far as the tariffs have actually done, companies have actually started to set up their businesses here in the United States. Yes.
The problem is, okay, a few things. Number one, there was a CNBC article that came out just yesterday where they interviewed 12 business owners, and all of them said that the tariffs have impacted them so negatively that they've had to reduce the amount of people that employ them. They've had to slow down their growth. And when it comes to the $18 trillion that Trump is claiming, they're just inflated numbers that Trump seems to be lying about. And my entire point is, when unemployment for young Americans, for Black Americans is going up, it's higher.
Especially because we actually outsource our employment from other countries as well, which actually will be brought back to the United States when they actually
when
5
years.
Like I said, it's an investment. You have to also give it time for the economy to actually.
Okay, this guy's just a fucking idiot. It's always tough to see it's always tough to see the black man cape it for the white man. Man, it's always tough to see, boy. It's always tough to see. I'm already done with this. Let's go. Moving on. Children.
My next claim is children are safer with the average illegal immigrant than with Donald Trump.
Oh, you know, I like these meme ones. This is a one. I have no idea where you can go with this. I didn't expect it. If I was going to come up with prompts, I would fucking meme. I would have fun with it. Let's get nasty, boy. All right, let's hear it out. Let's hear how all illegal immigrants are criminals. You want to bring up criminals, huh? Oh, I like this question. Okay. I like this question. He could bring up Epstein. He could bring up his stuff with little girls. He could bring up how Donald Trump's a criminal. Oh, I like this question. Adam, you might have cooked with this question. Let's do it. Let's do it. This question is really good.
Hi,
come on. Nice to meet you. I'm Adam.
I would actually like to hear what you have to say about it.
That'd be great. So when you look at the statistics, there's a study done by PNAS in Texas that shows that undocumented immigrants are 2 times less likely to commit violent.
They are if they're
2 times
undocumented.
less likely to commit crimes than native-born citizens. 2.5 times less likely.
Okay. Again, MAGA, they're dumb. Undocumented immigrants are just immigrants that have not officially put their documentation through the process. That doesn't mean we don't know who they are, because if we didn't know who they are, we couldn't have statistics about them. And we couldn't, if we didn't have statistics about them, Donald Trump wouldn't know where they fucking are and constantly round them up. Crazy how that works. I get it. MAGA doesn't know shit. All right. Understood.
Likely to commit property or drug crimes than native-born citizens, 4 times less likely to commit property crimes. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has been held liable for sexual assault. Donald Trump has had 34 felonies. Donald Trump is best friends with prolific sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. So,
I just have a few questions for you. So, I would really like to know, how come 60% of them that come in commit a crime, or they have the intention to commit a crime? And
that
how
is not true.
That is true.
What's your study?
I believe it was in 2 articles I learned in my college class.
Do you think who do you think commits more crimes?
She learned it in her college class. I need to know what that class is, and I want to talk to that professor on my podcast. I want to talk to that professor on my podcast and go like, what the fuck are you teaching your students? Let's do it. So, hey man, some of these professors think they're smarter than they actually are. Let's be very clear about that. Some professors are really smart. Shout out all the professors that's coming on the podcast and gave some amazing information, actual factual information, because that's all we do here. We all facts and good vibes. Should I smoke a blunt? You feel me? Nah, we ain't that. We ain't that. The vibes are not that good, not yet anyway.
Average U.S. citizen or the average undocumented immigrant?
Well,
I mean, violent
undocumented,
crimes.
so we wouldn't know.
Violent crimes.
We actually wouldn't know who
would
they are, and we have no idea who
we
people
do.
coming into our country.
Texas did a comprehensive study.
But there's no background check on them. They don't exist in this country, so we have no idea who they are.
You have no idea what
So
the
the burden of proof would be on you.
They're just allowed to come in here.
Let me
Do
say.
you understand what sanctuary cities are?
Of
They're allowed to
course.
just come in here and they get everything for free.
Okay, can I ask?
Oh, okay. So she's a fucking idiot. I'm moving on. She has no idea what. Yo, why are all these conservative college students fucking stupid? Why are they all stupid? How do none of you know anything? Like, at least know something so we can engage in conversation. None of you know anything. What are you learning? Who is your professors? What is going on? She doesn't know what a fucking undocumented immigrant is. She thinks that people go to sanctuary cities and get shit for free. Why are you all so dumb? Hey, I think I understand how Trump feels about the arts, man. Now I understand why he wants to take away funding for all these schools. Because what are we doing? If these kids are this dumb, then what are we paying for? What are we funding for? Why are you going into student loan debt? I just don't get it. I don't understand. I'm flabbergasted.
You have a question?
Sure.
So just imagine you had a daughter. Let's run a thought experiment. You had a daughter and you're about to bring her over to her friend's house. As you're driving your daughter over to her friend's house, you learn at the last minute that her father had not only been sexually assaulted or civilly liable for sexual abuse, her father also at the same time, sorry, let me restart that. 1 second. Imagine you're taking your daughter over to her friend's house. And as you're going over there, you learn that her friend's father had been held civilly liable of sexual abuse. He was best friends with prolific sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, and it said that he could just walk in on girls in dressing rooms like he did in the Howard Stern show. Would you let your daughter go over to that person's house?
The chances would be actually the same because I wouldn't know who those people are. The undocumented immigrants.
Well, no. Would you bring your daughter over to that person's house?
I don't think so.
Okay, because that describes Donald Trump perfectly.
But I would never bring my daughter to a house that I don't even know who the parents are. I don't know where they come from. I don't know where they're
from. The average undocumented immigrant commits
here.
lower crimes than Donald Trump.
There's no statistics on that because they're undocumented.
There are statistics on this.
They're
The study
undocumented.
from PNAS.
Where are they coming from? Where are they coming from? Do you know their past life? Do you know?
Wait, so when a crime,
do you know where in what country they're keeping track of them? No, you don't because they don't take any of that data when they come here.
Listen,
they slap a name on them and they allow them.
You
to
realize when a violent crime is committed, it's likely.
Yeah, but most of the time they're let go because they're undocumented, so it doesn't go on any criminal record.
Let me finish.
So those statistics.
She has no idea what she's talking about. Oh my goodness, she is so brain dead.
Sprinted there.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
I appreciate you being out here.
Thank you.
Going against all of us. Of course. So explain to me more of what you're trying to say.
Yo. We got a cool cat over here. You know what I'm saying? He's like a greaser from one of those like old movies.
Nice to meet you as well.
I appreciate you being out here.
Thank you.
Going against all of us. Of course. So explain to me more of what you're trying to say. Are you trying to say that Trump's like an evil man?
No. So there's a massive problem with Donald Trump when it relates to power dynamics. Throughout his entire career, this is a man who has abused power dynamics every step of the way. On the Howard Stern show, he one time said that he walks into dressing rooms of people changing because he owns the beauty pageant and no one says anything. You think that's bad, right? Donald Trump also said he grabs women by the pussy because they let them do it. That happened, right?
Yes.
So then he was also asked in a deposition a few years later, do you consider yourself a star? And he said, I would consider myself a star. So he's basically conceding right there that he's a star who can do it. So my point is, Donald Trump throughout the years has abused his power dynamics by not only walking into girls in dressing rooms, but also being best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, sending Jeffrey Epstein letters while Jeffrey Epstein is at the peak of his sex trafficking. Meanwhile, the average undocumented immigrant doesn't have any power to abuse. Yes, there are crimes committed by undocumented immigrants. Yes, coming to the country illegally is a crime, but when we're talking about sexual crimes on the outer edges and by the statistics, Donald Trump is way more likely to commit one.
So that's your claim.
Yep.
So first and foremost, we got to talk about, so you're for immigration.
Legal immigration.
I am on the same page with you.
Hell yeah.
Of course. So I'm glad that we do agree on this other aspect that we don't like men in dressing rooms, right? I'm glad we do agree on that. But
no, of course I don't. Wait, why would I?
Right. That's a whole different thing with the trans.
So you don't
community.
Can you claim can you just say it's kind of
nobody's talking about trans people, so it's all right.
Weird that the president of the United States has bragged repeatedly about grabbing women because
Adam, so this is a perfect opportunity to allow them to really figure out what their point will be, right? Sometimes I know when you're debating, you have a lot of points to make. Sometimes it's okay to let the person allow themselves to determine what their point are. He could be here just to engage and listen. He could have no point at all, or he could give you the exact perfect catalyst to make the slam dunk alley-oop point that you need. You don't always have to just throw things in there to get a concession unless there's a factual disagreement that you guys need to agree on to further the point that's being made. These are just important things to consider.
They let you do it
Okay, another important thing to keep in mind is that when did Trump do all these things that he's being accused of? Was he a Republican or was
Ain't no way he said he was a Democrat, so he did. Nah, this can't be a real point. Please, my heart. This can't be a real point. This can't be a real point. This can't be a real point. There's no way this is a real educated point. Please. All right. Let me hear this point out. Okay. Here's praying that this is not a He's praying that this is not a terrible point.
Important thing to keep in mind is that when did Trump do all these things that he's being accused of? Was he a Republican or was he a known Democrat?
Does his ideology matter?
I think it does, because it
I would say
shows you who
that's
you're surrounded around can affect
Me?
your decision. No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying like Trump at the
You
time. He
wanna
was
talk about-
68 years a Democrat.
You want to talk about who we're
Yo, how is that? Oh my God, I'm done. Yo, there's no way you made that point. Oh my God, there's no way. There's no way. That's the next. That is the. Oh my God, I'm flabbergasted. I don't even know what to say. He really was like, you know, he was only a weird pedo because he was a Democrat. The moment he decided not to be a Democrat, he stopped being a weird pedo. Yo, I can't. I'm so surprised. Yeah, how low do you have to go to make up points like that? That one, oh my God. Let's be clear. Let's be very clear. You know, Epstein and Trump, they talk about it in the files and how he was working with Steve Bannon to rise in power and all that stuff. So they were talking when Trump was also like leaning power hungry Republican. But regardless, that's a fucking stupid point. That's a terrible point. And that's also a concession. Oh yeah, you were a pedo, but I'm okay with it. You know, that's an agreement that you're okay with pedos as long as they turn into a Republican. And another thing, why am every story that's been coming out recently about all these people doing weird things to little girls and little kids, why do they tend to all be fucking Republicans? I don't even know why I'm even debating this point. This is such a stupid point, but it's just my brain is fried. I think I got high as fuck and drunk as fuck, and maybe I'm high on shrooms at the same time purely from hearing that point. Let's continue though.
Surrounded by the Republican Party is literally covering up Jeffrey Epstein. The Republican Party is covering up Matt Gaetz. Do you remember when Matt Gaetz was being investigated?
Matt Gaetz was liking little girls. I'm so flabbergasted. All right. I think this is last couple. Let's just that was gold. That was gold.
My last claim is Donald Trump is the most corrupt president in American history.
The most corrupt president in American history. Yeah, for sure. Most of these people have no idea. I guarantee most of these people have no idea what any other president has done. To be fair, as a fellow Gen Zer, I don't either. I'm not a big history buff. Of course, we know who some of these presidents are. George Washington, of course. We got John Adams. We got Thomas Jefferson. We got James Madison. We got the Abraham Lincolns. We got the Martin Van Burens. We got the William Harrisons. We got the Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagans. We got the Bushes. We got like a lot of presidents. Like I'm aware of a lot of them, not like the ins and outs. I know there's a lot of question on like how Andrew Jackson was performing while he was president, and I know obviously with Watergate with Richard Nixon was very corrupt. I know there's a lot of conversation in terms of like, what name am I thinking of? What name am I thinking of? Oh, fuck. Oh, there was a name on my mind that was not just Richard Nixon and Andrew Jackson. There was one more name that I wanted to bring up, but it's just, I'm blanking on it. But I mean, from my understanding, some people probably bring up Teddy Roosevelt in terms of like expanding his executive power. But I'll be honest, there's really no argument. Trump for sure. I'll be surprised if anybody else knows any other president, to be honest. I bet most of them are going to say Biden and Obama. I guarantee you most of them are going to say Biden and Obama.
I think that Donald Trump maybe is one of the least corrupt presidents in American history. I think that Donald Trump came out of a very corrupt system, not himself, but the America that elected Trump saw what happened after years of Democrat control, after years of Clintons and Obamas and all the same. And Trump came along and he said, we have to change this. We have to be uncorrupt. We have to be done with these people that coming in, they have these donors controlling them. Think about that 2016 debate. Hillary Clinton came in and she was controlled by the donors. Trump came in and said, I'm spending my own money. I'm not controlled I can't be corrupt. So
I get what
that's
you're
we like
saying.
about him.
What you're saying is true. A lot of Americans have felt like the system is rigged for years, and it has been. But what Donald Trump did is not unrig the system. He re-rigged it for himself. When he got into office, his net worth was $4.3 billion.
Man, that was a bar, Adam. What you feeling like? Put on the chain. Bring out the rings. That was a bar. Okay.
Can you guess by how much his net worth has increased over the past 9 months?
Liberals always love to talk about
Can you just
President Trump's
guess?
net worth.
Can you just guess very quickly?
We really don't care.
Okay, so Donald
We
Trump.
want what? Listen, our net worth is higher. Donald Trump
It's
made our
not.
net worth higher.
Okay, how did he make your net worth higher? By starting a
not
Trump
true.
coin, then a
Lower
Melania coin?
taxes.
No,
He
listen.
increased business in
Listen,
America. He keeps us
He
safe.
has not
He's
increased
kept us
business in
out of
America. I'm sorry, but
endless
businesses are
wars.
struggling
He's
under
kept us out
tariffs.
of endless wars.
Donald
He's
Trump's net
protected us
worth. Okay, so Joe Biden's net worth during his term.
These people are so brainwashed. They're so cooked. Like MAGA college students, you're all fucking idiots. Just because he cut taxes doesn't mean he's helping you with the taxes. He's helping billionaires with taxes. Unless you're a billionaire's kid, which you might be. You might be a billionaire's kid. You got the look of a billionaire kid. Yeah, he probably cut taxes for you, so maybe that's why you're kind of being like his little bitch boy. But no, he did not help businesses. He cut taxes for the rich. Most people are not benefiting from that taxes, to be honest. Not at a severe enough level for it to mean anything. The fact that you're saying, oh, I don't care that his net worth increased. I don't care if his family's getting richer. I don't care if he's scamming his supporters with a meme coin that is allowing him to meet with people in private meetings and meet other country leaders with private meetings. You're a fucking idiot. You're so stupid. That's just ridiculous.
Businesses are struggling under tariffs. Donald Trump's net worth so Joe Biden's net worth during his term went from $8 million, let me finish, to $11 million. That is a $3 million increase from real estate, from investments that he had. Donald Trump over the past 9 months has gained $3 billion in wealth through a few things. Right before he got into office, he started World Liberty Financial, which is a way for people to buy cryptocurrency named Trump coin. You know about Trump coin, right?
I do.
Are you okay with Trump coin?
I mean, I'm not sure that's on him.
It is on him. He
What? Yo, these people are trolling. They're trolling. They're trolling. They're trolling. They're trolling me. They're trolling
literally
me.
2 days before his inauguration, leveraged the hype of it to launch it.
How much do you think Trump knows about meme coins?
Okay, the thing is, it doesn't have to know about it for him to know it's a good channel of corruption. So
You can literally get private meetings with Trump. This is not a serious conversation. Let's move on to the next person. Oh, it's the Hispanic dude. I was gonna type up how I'm so curious how he's about to cape for his family getting deported. Evil joke, bad joke.
Nice to meet you, Isaac.
Awesome. So your claim, just to make sure, is that Trump is the most corrupt president of all time.
For sure.
So what due diligence and evidence do you have to compare him to every other president? Because you said most. So what other presidents have you done your due diligence to see what their corruption is and to make sure?
Oh, so you have no fucking take. You're just saying, all right, give me compare him to other presidents, and I'm going to, based off your information, I'm going to just disagree. So you actually have no fucking take. All right, bet.
That he is the most corrupt.
Yeah, so I think Watergate is a really good analog. Nixon's Watergate was, like, at that time, the craziest thing to ever happen in a presidential administration. So Watergate was awful, but my argument is there is a Watergate happening basically every single day. What Donald Trump has done is set up a few buckets for people to funnel money into, and then he uses those buckets to give favors. So I've already talked about the Trump coin, and I talked about Justin Sun. There's other good examples, like Melania Trump, for example, met with Jeff Bezos behind the scenes at the White House and then got a $40 million movie deal right away. It's interesting because a quick tangent that I want to go on. In the 90s, Hillary Clinton got in this huge scandal because she made $100,000 a decade prior off of cattle futures. Donald Trump and his family make billions, and this is like not even a blip in the news. So that's what I compare it to. Hillary, Watergate, yeah.
So only Hillary and Nixon.
I mean, do you have any better analogs? Who would you say is more corrupt?
Well, my argument isn't so much who's more corrupt. It's that you're claiming that he's the most corrupt, but you haven't done your due diligence on every other president.
There are big tentpole moments in history like Watergate. LBJ had some election corruption, but Donald Trump, between his fake elector scheme, between his wealth enrichment, and between the favors he's getting from Qatar. Do you know about the $400 million Qatari jet?
Yeah.
Do you think there's any analog in American history to the $400 million Qatari jet?
Not off the top of my head, but I'm also not making the claim that he's the most corrupt.
No, that's fine. I'm not trying to like press you or anything, but there's just no analog to this wealth increase and the favors that Donald Trump has given.
Okay. So you would equate financial gain to corruption and only financial gain to corruption?
No, there's a few other ways. There's like bribery.
He's really just here. Let me find somewhere to pick apart the argument without actually having to take myself.
Quid pro quo. There's pardons. There's certain things. Yeah.
What I'm trying to get at is I'm not going to deny that everything that Trump has done has not had some emphasis of corruption. But what I am trying to point out is the fact that you are labeling him as the most, but completely disregarding every other presidency up until that point because you're
not every single one.
Nobody's disregarding anything. Give me a fucking president that's more corrupt. Do it, please. Please give me someone. They don't know any other presidents.
I gave a really good example of 1992 when Hillary Clinton got in a big scandal, and then I compared how Melania Trump made like 4,000 times that money, you know? So, I mean, we can look at other analogs in history. There's never been a fake elector scheme. Do you remember Obama coin or like Hillary coin? No, there was no Obama.
Don't give him fucking evidence. He has to make a claim. He ain't fucking saying nothing. He's just trying to debate, bro, by picking out the fallacies. Nasty.
Obama coin. There was no Hillary coin.
The coins after them.
Trump coin is unique in many ways.
Okay, but what does Trump coin equate to corruption? How is it corrupt?
It's an untraceable way for people to funnel money
So
into
is
it and
Bitcoin
get
corrupt?
favors. No, because Bitcoin isn't being held by the president.
You're comparing. All right, this guy's not serious. Give me someone serious. He's a fucking idiot as well. Jesus Christ, man, these people.
Untraceable, but people can tell Trump, hey, I'll donate to you. And then they not only gain leverage over him, he wasn't. Wait. Great.
You were not making any fucking point.
Hey, great to see you again.
Yeah, nice to chat again.
So I just want to say, and I'll address it. I do think there's a lot of corruption with the Trump administration, but I'm going to put that aside. I don't think it's the most corrupt administration, but that has a lot to do with definitions. First, I want to say, you call Trump a fascist. You strongly implied he's a pedophile who's escaped the law.
Do you think he's not a pedophile? Do you think he was?
I don't think that he sexually assaulted any children violently. And now you're saying he's the most corrupt president.
Violently? Why'd you put that qualifier violently? Wait, what? What version is not violent? Yo, that threw me. Whoa, let me hear that again. Let me hear that again. Wait, what?
Do you think he was?
I don't think that he sexually assaulted any children violently. And now you're saying he's.
What version is not violent? All right, maybe he misspoke. Sure, okay.
Most corrupt president in U.S. history. To me, it sounds like fascist, most corrupt in history, pedophile who's escaped the law because of his political influence or something. Why don't you want Donald Trump dead?
Because the American political system.
Oh, so you have no fucking point either. Okay, you're out. There's a bitch ass question. Let's move on. Bitch ass question. Pussy ass question. Nobody said he wants him dead. Nice try though. Good gotcha.
Speedy. Hey. Nice to see you again. Long time no see.
Back. I want to circle back to a point that
now I understand what let me show.
That you brought up, which was the Trump coin.
Yeah.
And can you?
I was completely great. Nobody knows any fucking presidents. Nobody here has learned about any presidents. They're all in college. I'm gonna say this, and a lot of people better agree with me. You're being in college for most people is probably going to be the most knowledgeable you're going to be in your entire life, because that is the peak of you learning for most people. Obviously, I do like political content, so that obviously doesn't apply to me, but most people, this is where you are the most like conditioned to learn, because you're in an environment of learning. After college, a lot of people just do their daily life, don't really think about learning or getting more knowledge or anything like this. So the fact that that is the case and nobody knows fucking anything is embarrassing.
Explain why that's such a good example of corruption in your view.
It is the perfect example of corruption because Donald Trump leveraged the hype of his inauguration 2 days before to release a Trump coin and then a Melania coin. Not only is this unprecedented, this has never happened like this before, but it then led to an unprecedented wealth increase over the first 9 months. Sure. This wealth increase was through people funneling money into his Trump coin and getting favors in return.
Really quick, the reason it's probably unprecedented is because crypto has not been around for long enough for other presidents to have done something.
Oh my God, these people are so dumb. Oh my goodness. All right, let me, what's this fun one? Conservative college students. Let's hear this before we wrap up.
I would like to choose the blue shirt guy. The reason why I chose you is because you very clearly challenged me and knocked me off for a second on the Medicaid thing. And that was good. It was a good debate. And I want to continue a discussion.
Oh, was it a good debate? Let me go to
that. So,
hi, it's good to meet you.
Great to meet you.
Martin, nice to meet you.
Martin, I'm Adam.
Perfect. So what I want to talk about
I've seen this guy before, so he actually does know something. So
is because we already established kind of the golden age is a wide range of time. Sure. We're more so talking about
the
time
golden part.
Well, yeah, I'm saying for the age, we're talking about this entire Trump presidency and really.
Do you think we're in a golden age, like he claims?
I think we're entering one, and I think that
so. What indicators?
Yeah. So what I want to talk about is more so
any indicators
moving off
of
the tariffs, talking about the biggest aspect of the Trump's economic presidency, which is the one big beautiful bill.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah. So I assume you're against the one big beautiful bill, correct?
Yeah, certain parts of it, for sure.
Okay, for sure. So I think the biggest part of it is the extension of the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Are you pro or against that?
I mean, that's fine, but it depends on the context around it. So what Donald Trump did is permanently extend the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act tax cuts, and that disproportionately benefits the richest of the rich. But at the same time, like I said, at the same time, he cut social safety nets for people at the very, very bottom. And you know what the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act says? Wait, really quickly, if you look it up, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act over the next few years will lead to hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of children losing free lunch at schools, while it also allows billionaires. It also allows billionaires to now write off private jets. Now, none of us in this room benefit from having a private jet.
Let's touch on that. So let's touch on the first part. You said that most of the tax cuts.
Yeah, I'm against it. I am pro. I hate taxes. I want to be very clear. I do not like paying taxes. I am pro taxes though, because it's supposed to be there to help your community. The idea of like cutting billionaire taxes, it's just stupid. I'll be honest.
Are concentrated, within the top 20.
Disproportionately, I wouldn't say most. Yeah.
Well, so 60% of the tax, so 60% of income earners actually do get tax cuts under the one big beautiful bill, under the extension of the tax cuts.
Just because you get a tax cut doesn't make it a meaningful tax cut, especially compared to the top percent who are getting way girthier tax cuts.
Jobs Act, specifically the median American family, would have seen a tax hike of $1,800 a year should the tax cuts.
And I'm glad they extended that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like I said, the context matters. When you're extending that, but you're removing social safety nets and allowing billionaires to write off private jets. Listen, people in this room will benefit a lot more from like kids getting free lunches than writing off private jets. I don't see anyone in this room.
Social safety net part though. So the best example the left always brings up is cuts to Medicaid. The actual most prominent cut that we made to Medicaid was instituting work requirements of 20 hours a week.
They tried this exact thing in Arkansas and it kicked 18,000 people off of their Medicaid.
Yeah, I would say that if someone isn't working, then they shouldn't be getting health care.
No, but these were 18,000 people who had increased barriers to get Medicaid. And what happens is these people who are vulnerable already.
The barriers of seeking a job.
No, it's not just that. It kicks people off because the barriers become so hard. People with jobs can still get it. But the problem is, listen.
What are the barriers that are so hard?
The problem is when it comes to this, with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act,
Yo, this guy just like smiles and has he even debated a single? Oh, he did. He actually entered the debate. Maybe I should have watched it. I'm not going to.
The barriers for Medicaid. Sorry, 1 second.
No, okay, so it's like you said barriers. What are the barriers that are so hard besides getting a job where you have to go work 20 hours a week?
Yeah, Adam is too. The one thing about Adam is sometimes he has to slow down, calm down, and just make his points regarding the whatever debate. The big beautiful bill obviously was going to be a big one. It's cutting a lot of Medicaid. Now there is an interesting conversation in terms of like how it's making its cuts, but regardless, when it comes down to what are we talking about, the golden age of the economy, the idea of just like booting people off of Medicaid, I don't think it's necessarily like I can't speak on the specific requirements. I'm not doing the Jubilee debate, so obviously I don't need to know all this offhand. If I was, I'd be extremely prepared. Well, I'm gonna allow him to finish. We'll look it up real quick so it can be all on the same page. But I think there's
already a
bigger
economic
economic
conversation
conversation.
so that doesn't apply to you. I mean, what are these barriers? The left always speaks in these like just abstracts. Like that's actually like what are the barriers?
The increased barriers are when people are vulnerable and already working part-time, and then you cut them off of Medicaid. Yes, people can get Medicaid with this, but the problem is when 18,000 people, like in Arkansas, are kicked off of their Medicaid.
Working part-time.
No, the 18,000 people were kicked off of their Medicaid because they couldn't get access to it. What happens then is that they have to dig into their social safety,
how they not get access then?
Because the barriers are increased.
What are the barriers? The only barrier you listed, the only barrier we talked about is work requirements, and that's working 20 hours a week.
Yeah, but it's the work requirements increasing is just,
Oh man, Mockler got stuck. He didn't know exactly what barriers he was referring to. Hey man, it's okay. Medicaid, big. And this guy wasn't really willing to play ball because I don't think he knows. I think there is more barriers than that. Obviously, the immigration citizen status is going to be one of them. Big, beautiful bill, Medicaid, work requirements. Good question. Ain't that right? And then Arkansas study. All right. Provides states, blah, blah, blah. States are required to implement work requirements by January 1st, 2027. So, implementation timeline, work requirements, 80 hours per month of one or more of the following activities: employment, participation in work programs such as job training, enrollment in an educational program at least half time, community service activities, or a combination of these activities. 80 hours per month. The work requirements may not be waived via a 1115 demonstration waiver. What's an 1115 demonstration waiver? Is a tool under this allowing states to test, innovate, Medicaid, getting federal approval to waive number of rules for Hispanic cover using new delivery system. Okay. So 80 hours per month of one or the more following activities. So 80 hours per month work, meaning you get Medicaid. I think that's reasonable. I'm okay with like a work requirement because you really gotta force people. You gotta motivate people to work for sure. 80 hours is reasonable. That's what, like, it's like 2 times, like 3 hours per bare minimum, 3 hours per day. Like 5 hours part time. Population, individuals aged 19 to 64 enrolled in Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act's Medicaid expansion, which includes nearly all individuals who fall between the state's transitional Medicaid income eligibility threshold and 138% of the federal poverty level in states that have adopted the expansion, or through a waiver program that provides minimum essential coverage and who do not qualify for an exemption. Adopted Medicaid expansion with over 20 million adults currently receiving. So you have to be within the population threshold. Provides health coverage to low-income people, including children, pregnant women, elderly, low-employment people with disabilities, on income and other categorical requirements without conditions related to employment. Other exemptions: foster youth and former foster youth under the age of 26 is defined as parents, disabled veterans, medically frail individuals already meeting work requirements, including under temp status or SNAP status, participating in a qualified substance use disorder treatment program, incarcerated or recently incarcerated individuals, pregnant and postpartum individuals, short-term hardships, outreach. State Medicaid agencies are required to conduct member outreach through regular mail, blah, blah. Conduct outreach to impact members at least once every 6 months. Look back. It's non-compliance. Don't response issue of non-compliance. Will reduce Medicaid spending by $344 billion. So the congressional budget estimates that 11.8 million people will lose Medicaid coverage due to HR 1 in the next 10 years. What does that mean? 4.8 million of those will be due to the implementation of the work requirements. Policy of wide-ranging applications. Organization tasks with limited funding in a short window of time, which accomplishes it. Next. HR. Increases statutory debt limit, reduces taxes, reduces or increases. I mean, the work requirement stuff is reasonable. Look at this. Impose work requirements motivated by the assumption that many adults would be guaranteed enough to work, but choose not to in conditions became the first to establish a work requirement for adults enrolled through its Medicaid expansion program, starting with 30 to 49-year-olds with incomes below the federal poverty level, or granted for parents living with dependent children and certain other groups. The requirement led to the disenrollment of more than 18,000 adults over 4 months. Data from telephone surveys of adults with low incomes in Arkansas and 3 comparison states in the South found that work requirements were associated with an increase of uninsured. Didn't have the intended employment effects. Was to build evidence based on the effects of Medicaid work requirements by re-examining experiences. Okay. So I'm understanding. Okay, I'm understanding. So I think it's important to note that the idea of, because I've had this conversation with a past guy who worked in the care sector of the government, and we both agree that the government should uplift people to get them prepared to start a life and start working on all that stuff, right? With that said, if you do not help people get prepared and be involved in society, just having a work requirement vacant of them, like helping them get a job, helping them with transportation, helping them take care of their family, you're not making it easy at that point. You're not helping them get out of their situation. That is my point, right? It's been in about an hour. Sue me. So, for example, if there's a situation where there's a mother who has to take care of so many kids and she has no means to, like, she got this job, but she has to obviously stay home, take care of kids, whether it's like something extreme happens, a sickness happens potentially, extreme circumstances, it will be more difficult. And I'm sure this is going to play into, I'm curious to see how this plays into families. The study says it doesn't work. If you're not preparing people to kind of start working and better their life, then having strict requirements that they have to pass doesn't really help them. And it doesn't really motivate them. We want people to get out of poverty so they can contribute to the economy. So you can understand that if these people are already really struggling to work consistently, then we throw this work requirement onto them without any other conditions to help them start working more other than, just get in there, then you're just screwing people over. And these people will be uninsured, and then you're just going to have more people in more debt and more people go into the emergency room, and it's just not helpful for anybody. So I have a better understanding. Now, if a Republican were able to give me a good argument on what programs are they doing to help these people, get jobs and stuff, then let's hear it. I mean, I just doubt it. But shout out. That was an important enough point to really verify that stuff, to look into it. What do they talk about here?
I appreciate it. Well, of course, my claim will be kind of going back to that first claim that we talked about earlier, is that the left in the United States is far more fascist than the right in the United States.
Really? How do you define fascist?
Yes, we'll start off with that. So I define it as one that wants totalitarian rule and aims to establish that by dissenting, forcibly opposing views.
Okay, well, I'm done with this video. Shout out Adam Mockler. I think he has some debate techniques that he has to kind of iron through. I think he needs to slow down. This is on 1.25 speed, and I still think he was going too fast. So he needs to slow down, articulate the points. Don't just throw things out there. Really have a conversation. There's a lot more debate strategy he can start mastering for sure. But that is all we got for this Jubilee video.